Good morning, students. Today we will read passage number 4 from the lesson A Fellow Traveler, English Prose, class 12. I flicked him off again. He skipped away, took another jaunt round the compartment, returned and seated himself impudently on the back of my hand. It is enough, I said. Magnanimity has its limits. Twice you have been warned that I am someone in particular, that my august person resents the tickling impertinence of strangers. I assume the black cap. I condemn you to death. Justice demands it and the court awards it. The counts against you are many. You are a vagrant, you are a public nuisance, you are traveling without a ticket, you have no meat coupon. For these and many other misdemeanors, you are about to die. I struck a swift lethal blow with my right hand. He dodged the attack with an insolent ease that humiliated me. My personal vanity was aroused. I lunged at him with my hand. With my paper, I jumped on the seat and pursued him round the lamp. I adopted tactics of feline cunning, waiting till he had alighted, approaching with a horrible stealthiness, striking with a sudden and terrible swiftness. Students, we have read the passage. Now I would like to point out some difficult meanings of the passage. In this way, first meaning is flicked off. It means to move suddenly. Students, imprudently means rudely. Skipped away means leaped over. Magnanimity means generosity. August person means majestic person. I assume the black cap means to become a judge. Tickling means to touch someone with fingers lightly. Impertinence means disrespect. Vagrant means vagabond. Public nuisance means dangerous person. Misdemeanors means unlawful acts, crimes. These are some difficult meanings which I have pointed out from the passage number 4. That's all. Good morning, students. Now I would like to read passage number 5 from the lesson A Fellow Traveler. Read it very carefully, and I have underlined the difficult meanings also. It was all in vain. He played with me openly and ostentatiously like a skillful matador finessing round an infuriated bull. It was obvious that he was enjoying himself, that it was for this that he had disturbed my repose. He wanted a little sport, and what sport like being chased by this huge lumbering windmill of a creature who tasted so good and seemed so helpless and so stupid. I began to enter into the spirit of the fellow. He was no longer a mere insect. He was developing into a personality and intelligence that challenged the position of this compartment with me on equal terms. I felt my heart warming towards him, and the sense of superiority feeding. How could I feel superior to a creature who was so manifestly my master in the only competition in which we had ever engaged? Why not be magnanimous again? Magnanimity and mercy were the noblest attributes of man. In the exercise of these high qualities, I could recover my prestige. At present, I was a ridiculous figure, a thing of laughter and derision. By being merciful, I could reassert the moral dignity of a man and go back to my corner with honor. I withdraw the sentence of death. I said, returning to my seat, I cannot kill you, but I can reprieve you. I do it. This was the reading of the passage. Now we will study the difficult word meanings from the passage which are underlined. First word meaning is that the first word is ostentatiously. It is meant by for show. Matador. Matador means a man whose task is to kill the bull in a sport of bullfighting that is usually occurred in Spain. Finessing. Finessing means artful way of dealing with a situation. Infuriated means made very angry. Repose means peace, mental peace, rest. Lumbering. Lumbering means heavy and clumsy. enter into. It means become involved. Manifestly, it means clearly. Attributes means qualities. Magnanimity means generosity. Ridiculous figure means absurd. Derision means fun. Merciful means kind. Reassert means to demand again. And the last word is deprive. It means postpone the punishment. Students, we have learned the word meanings, the difficult word meanings from the passage. Now I would like to throw light on the gist of the passage. He is meant by the mosquito in the passage. I stand for the writer. He stand for the mosquito. In the previous passage, the writer assumed himself a judge and sentenced the mosquito death. But he was unable to kill the mosquito. It was nippy, it was wingy, it was a little insect. The mosquito dodged the writer very cunningly. He was unable to kill the little insect. He was such a big creature, but he was helpless. He was a laughing stock. He feels himself absurd because he was unable to kill the mosquito. So he decided to keep his dignity back. He decided to show mercy, generosity for his fellow traveler and postpone the death sentence of his fellow traveler because he was fully unable to do so. His situation became very absurd. This is the gist of the passage. Now we will read passage number 6. I took up my paper and he came and sat on it. Foolish fellow, I said, you have delivered yourself into my hands. I have but to give this respectable weekly organ of opinion a smack on both the covers, and you are a corpus neatly sandwiched between an article on peace scraps and another, the modesty of Mr. Huck. But I shall not do it. I have reprieved you, and I will satisfy you that when this large animal says a thing, he means it. Moreover, I no longer desire to kill you through knowing you better. I have come to. Now we continue our reading. I have come to feel, shall I say, a sort of affection for you. I fancied that St. Francis would have called you little brother. I cannot go so far as that in Christian charity and civility, but I recognize a more distant relationship. Fortune has made us fellow travelers on this summer night. I have entrusted you and you have entertained me. The obligation is mutual and is founded on the fundamental fact that we are fellow mortals. The miracle of life is ours is common, and its mystery too. I suppose you don't know anything about your journey. I am not sure that I know much about mine. We are really, when you come to think of it, a good deal like just apparitions that are and then are not, coming out of the night into the lighted carriage, fluttering about the lamp for a while and going out into the night again. Perhaps. Going on tonight, sir, said a voice at the window. It was a friendly porter giving me a hint that this was my station. I thanked him and said I must have dozing, and seizing my hat stick and I went out into the cool summer night. As I closed the door of the compartment, I saw my fellow traveler fluttering round the lamp. Now that's all. The lesson has been completed, but in these last lines, I would like to mark some difficult word meanings also. The first meaning is affection, a feeling of love. Entertain means to make someone interesting. The next meaning is obligation. Duty, compulsion, fundamental, basic, important. Apparitions, the spirit of a dead person. Porter, porter means coolie. Fancy, fancy means suppose. Fluttering, to move quickly. Seizing, holding. The sixth and the seventh passage of the lesson is the last lines of the lesson, the last line of the essay. In the last line, the writer has become philosophical. The last lines are very deep, meaningful, philosophical, and very important also. In the last lines, the writer means to say that when he was unable to kill the mosquito for troubling him, he started a feeling of sympathy, a feeling of love for his fellow traveler. He feels himself that they are fellow mortals. They are same alike. They are just like spirits. They don't know about the journey of life. Both of them do not know about the journey of life, the end of life. This is the secret of life. So there is a distinct relationship between the author and the mosquito. He started a feeling of fraternity for the mosquito. And now the writer reached at his suburban station, and a porter disturbed him, and he realized that he has to get down from the train, local train, and the writer left the local train, the compartment of the train, and he found his fellow traveler, the mosquito, fluttering round the lamp to move quickly here and there, and this was the end of his journey. This is the end of the lesson. The personal essay of A.J. Gardner is very interesting, very meaningful, and full of many difficult meanings. The last lines are philosophical, and we have completed the reading and word meanings. That's all. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.